Hello everyone! Level 120 is a very exciting mark, as it opens up so many opportunities to improve, so many paths to explore, and so many interesting rewards. In my view, this is the most creative and one of my favorite dungeons to farm. Let's dive into the Bastion of the Triune. The Bastion of the Triune is a rift located beneath Caldeum in Act 3. Reaching it is tricky, as one must enter from the city of Caldeum into Rathma Square to the west and defeat Primus to open a portal. Step quickly into the portal and be prepared for an assault from the get-go. I personally prefer to open a town portal as soon as I enter the rift. The Bastion of the Triune is a neat dungeon with some reasonably different environments. There is a village of a sort, some fortifications on the sides, a forest, a river, a castle, and finally a palace that the final pair of villains call home. It is populated by 4 types of monsters. Impaler Archons, flying spirits that are resistant to magic and deal a lot of magic damage from medium range. Primal Clays, melee golems that are resistant to physical damage. Kraken guards, which deal cold damage from range, which freeze their enemies, and which cast multiple ice novas after they die, sometimes. And finally, stationary temple spires that cast meteors occasionally. The meteors deal very high fire damage and are telegraphed by circles on the ground, but will cause a large number of annoying deaths, so watch out for those in particular. The final reward of the dungeon is a charm called Corrupted Wormhole. This charm has no stats on it and is the centerpiece of this place. The catch is that the Bastion of the Triune is the only place in the game where monsters can drop items called cycles. The cycles have different bonuses on them, ranging from gold and magic find, attribute bonuses, combat speeds, health and mana, and in some very rare cases +1 to all skills. These cycles can be added with the aid of the Horadric Cube to the Corrupted Wormhole. Each cycle added this way will increase the level requirement of the charm and add its bonuses, so the bonuses you can add are thus limited. You may opt to have multiple charms in your stash, tailored for different purposes, some with only magic find, others with combat bonuses, or a mix of the two. It does depend on the cycles that drop, and the cycles themselves have variable bonuses. Larger cycles grant potentially bigger bonuses compared to the level cost, and the larger the cycle, the lower the chance to see one drop. As a cherry on top, there is a trophy attached to the Triune that grants an extra 30% magic find bonus to a corrupted wormhole on top of the other bonuses. Furthermore, as an extra carrot on a stick, enemies that can drop cycles have an extremely low chance to drop a golden cycle. A golden cycle grants +1 to all skills, a bonus to all attributes, and maximum life and mana. I have not found one myself, so the information that I have about the stats come from the wiki charm page, which is linked in the description of the video. In order to defeat the final boss, we need to stop a while in the castle before the long corridor to the palace. We will find a foe here called Durram, sitting next to a throne of bones. Durram is a simple enemy with a very high damage melee attack. He is guaranteed to drop an item called Tome of Possession. This tome acts as a charm, and while in a player's inventory it will grant a skill called Mind Control and will lower dodge, avoid and evade chance by 120%. So equip this tome only when facing the following boss. Our target is Lucion, Primus of the Triune. The fight involves another wizard called Malic. Both are completely immune to damage. Lucion is slow moving with a weak melee attack and will occasionally cast a curse which lowers walking speed. Nothing to really worry about. Malic though is something else. He is untargetable, slowly hovers around the field sometimes, and his main attack is a ranged spell comprised of several bolts that will drain a player's health to 1 very quickly if hit. It is very important to avoid this attack. Cast this often and is the only thing that can damage Lucion. Other than that, he will summon groups of bats with standard lightning melee attacks and temple spires, which should be killed if possible. The most terrible ability though is a teleportation field that covers a large area. Everything in this field will be teleported to a random spot on the screen. The field lasts for a few seconds and it can connect several teleports at a time. This attack is very confusing, can teleport the character directly in the way of his main attack, mess up positioning during the fight, and will generally ruin everyone's day. The trick to this fight is using the Tome of Possession to cause Lucion to battle Malic and thus be killed by the latter's magic bolt attacks. you need to try and clear the palace courtyard and interior of monsters and open a town portal in a hidden corner. Get to the back of the palace where Lucion is found, equip the Tome of Possession and have the mind control ability ready. Lure him to the courtyard where Malic hovers, and as soon as they are within sight of each other, cast mind control on Lucion. This will turn the two against each other. Lucion will attack bats and other monsters and will try to attack Malic, while the latter shoots bolts at whatever enemy is closer. The mind control skill has a 5-second cooldown, so don't cast it willy-nilly. Look for the small white swirl on Lucian's model and cast the spell again only when it's gone. Recasting the spell while it is active will waste the cast, as the duration will not be extended. In the meantime, it might be wise to clear any potential monsters summoned by Malic and try to avoid his teleportation spell, but sometimes that is not possible. That spell will create a lot of frustration, so be ready for it. It can really ruin a smooth run randomly. After reaching half health, Lucian's walking speed will increase dramatically. After a number of hits from Malic's spell, Lucian will die. Lucian will drop the corrupted wormhole and guarantees a few cycle drops, but I don't always have the patience to deal with the fight's mechanics, so I mostly farm the monsters for cycles. I think this flexibility of choices on how to tackle the Triune is the beauty of it. Thanks, and see you in the next one.